And we're back with the world's worst TED Talk. So my dad was a farmer and a factory worker, which meant that he was really efficient at plowing my dreams and, and sowing the seeds of hard work, self-doubt, and disappointment. Yeah. He liked to cook breakfast, so one morning I came downstairs and he asked me how I wanted my eggs, to which I said scrambled. And he just looked around and said, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." That's right. In my house, scrambled eggs was a custom order. I said, "Why not?" Now, keep in mind, he worked hard in the factory all week and he worked hard farming on the weekends. And he just looked at me and said, "Because I'd have to clean another bowl." That means that hotels with continental breakfast show me more affection than my father. Motel 6 will at least leave a light on for me. Another thing that was against his policy. Places I can even rent rooms by the hour so I can get short bursts of affection. I have to pay for the full hour. 55 minutes is a long time to put on clothes. Whenever I wanted to sleep in my parents' bed when I was a kid, the answer is always hell no. My dad would just promptly put me back in my bed and try and close the door. And when I asked if he could leave the hall light on for me, he would just say, "No, I'm not wasting electricity. This isn't a Motel 6. They just left me in my dark room with my nightmares. It's okay. I'm not scared of the dark anymore. I'm just scared of trusting loved ones." Anyway, my dad was a good mechanic, but when he tried to teach me, it didn't go as I expected. He just kind of expected me to stand there and hand him stuff and pay attention, and that's how I was going to learn, except he spent the whole time just complaining about me, my brother, and my mother to me. I realized I wasn't so much his helper as I was his therapist. Knowing that, I wish I'd responded to some of the things he said a little differently. Like when he said, like, "Your mom's been pissing me off lately, buying a bunch of stuff she doesn't need." Could have just said, like, "So how long after you were married did this start happening?" "Your oldest son's been bidding for your affection. How's that going?" "Going better if he'd get off his butt and do his chores more often." Okay, I hear you. Is this perhaps brought on by difficulties from the younger son? Might I suggest corporal punishment? I usually wouldn't suggest violence as the answer, but in this case, I think he has it coming. My little brother was annoying, okay? So any opportunity for vengeance, like that's an opportunity to be creative, okay? I like being disappointed, so I joined the army. The army introduced me to MREs, or meals ready to eat. Isn't that the defining characteristic of a meal, that you can eat it? Yeah. So I guess you need reassurance if, after it sits in a container for 6 months in 130-degree heat, that it's somehow still edible. Anyway, if you've never eaten one, it's like eating a Russian nesting doll. Yeah, just a package full of consecutively smaller packages. Everything can be eaten as is, but there's a heater you can use. Just add water, and the instructions actually say, for best results, to prop it against a rock or something. Instructions for soldiers by soldiers, I guess. There's no rock in the bag, in case you're wondering. It's a test. Only the clever soldiers get to have warm food. Says the army doesn't incentivize keeping the best and the brightest. MREs actually come with a laxative gum, because eating one is akin to a religious experience. When you eat one, your colon dies, and then 3 days later has to resurrect a rock or something. It's bad. Anyway, the army has real dining facilities you can eat food in too, but since they never, use any seasonings, like it all ends up tasting like Tabasco or Texas Pete or whatever's on the table to save you. But while the food was underwhelming and the eggs were poured from a bag, at least they came scrambled. You guys have been great. I've been Aaron Oglesbee, and I'm going to bring Melissa back up to introduce the next comedian. Thank you. Have a good night.